are back, and this is going to be episode 21 of my poker vlog. I'm Kyle Fischl, and today I'm going to talk about the two sessions I played July 26th and July 27th for Friday and Saturday. Through those two sessions, I had a roller coaster of emotions, and I think that there's some good lessons in a few of the hands that I played. First hand of note, in a Friday night game, there's a lot of action going on. People have usually been playing for a few hours. Stacks are deeper than, a single buy-in. I'd say the average stack at the table I'm at is 1,500 to 1,800, and I'm up a little. I play a few medium hands, I guess 1,100 in front of me, with 5 limpers to me in late-ish position. I look down at King Jack offsuit. Now it's a strong hand, especially with all the limpers. I'm ahead of a lot of them, and I'm in position. So I raised to 45, and 2 players call. So we're going 3 ways to a flop, which comes Jack 10-4, all offsuit. When the first player checks to me, and the pot's decent sized, I try to go half pot size, just value bet. I bet $80, and the button, whose name is Troy, let me use his name, shout out, he quickly raises to 210. The early position player folds, it's back to me. Now when he raises to 210, like literally, what is he repping? Now the board is not too wet, so to me there's not a whole lot of hands that he really could have. What is he repping? I guess in my mind there's only really 2 hands that I can put him on here. One of them is Jack 10 and one of them is King Queen. Well, I do beat King Queen right now, and Jack 10, I could see that being a strong contender. You would play like Jack 10 suited, flop 2 pair, be happy with it, think that I have like ace jack and try to get some value. But either way, he has a huge stack, so I think he also could be making a move some of the time. So I choose to just call and see what happens. Well, the turn is a king of diamonds, brings a backdoor flush draw. Now I feel pretty good about my hand. I check to him and he bets $600.
Woo-hoo! Big bet for a big man. Sure you don't want to save a few bucks for the buffet?
Very large bet. Very large. And at this point, the same question goes through my mind. Like, what is he repping? There's very little chance that he could have ace-queen, so we'll rule that out. I think if you had a set, you wouldn't be as aggressive right now, because a lot of straight draws I could have, or a lot of pair plus straight draws I could have, and I could have pocket kings. I think I could easily have pocket kings here. So when I have about a little over 800 in front of me, I think for a while, and I come to relatively the same conclusion. I think that this opponent either has Jack 10 or King Queen, and luckily with that king I now beat both of them. So when you beat every hand you think your opponent could have that would play this way, it's time to jam all in. And for only 200 more, he quickly calls. The river is a jack, so even if I was behind, got there.
Stop action at halftime.
And I think the young players, after they got a half of NBA playoff basketball, wow, Bellinelli, a wild shot, and it goes in!
And he doesn't show his cards for like 3-4 seconds, and I just look at him and say, I have a full house. And he's like, what, really? I'm like, yeah, man, sorry. He throws his hand in the muck and claims that he had Queen 9. So, Queen 9, kind of an interesting raise on the flop. I guess if you're going to raise on the flop and get there, might as well try to go for max value, but he didn't show, so I really don't know. I guess Queen 9 does make sense, but Let me know if you think he was honest with me in the comments on that one. All right, next hand of note. There are 3 limpers this time, and I'm in the big blind with Ace King of Hearts, and the dealer actually grabs all the chips and puts the 1 burn card down, and I have to stop them to say like, oh, I haven't made an action yet. Okay, you know, he's okay, go ahead, and I have Ace King of Hearts, so obviously, I think that when the chips are pooled already, it makes a raise look weaker. So I try to size up a bit. I make it 35 on top of, you know, the 20 that's in there that all got pulled in. And 2 players decide to call as well. A middle position player and the button, which, you know, I'm fine with. I have Ace King of Hearts. Well, the flop is Deuce, Ace, Deuce. So that is a pretty good flop for me. And the best way I can describe this is an all or nothing board. I don't like, when thinking about this board, I don't think the term dry or polarizing really makes sense. So I'm going to call it an all or nothing board. They either have all of it or they have none of it. There's no middle. So with this kind of board, I think the best option is to check. I will check my top pair, top kickers sometimes, just going for check raises to keep people honest and really balance my range when I do, you know, sometimes I'll bet, sometimes I'll check. I try to stay as balanced as possible so that people can have a harder time figuring out what I have. And especially with this board, I think that it forces people to bluff. So I check, middle position player checks, and the button bets $45. Pretty easy call because, like I said, you know, if it's checked to you on the button and you have like 8, 9 of clubs, the only chance you're winning is if you bluff. So you gotta bluff. Makes sense. I'm not really willing to raise here because I want him to keep bluffing and maybe get there, something like that. And plus, the middle position player might call as well with drawing extremely thin, like with no chance of winning. So I call. Middle position player calls as well. The turn is the 9 of diamonds. Kind of upset. I was hoping I could get a flush draw just in case some shenanigans were going on. But either way, 9 of diamonds, not a horrible card. Pocket 9s gets there, but it is what it is. I check, middle position checks. Button bets 125. And at this point, I think a decision needs to be made. Does he have a weaker ace? Does he have a pocket pair? Is he bluffing? Does he have a deuce? Well, really, what 2s would limp and then call? Like, have to be a weird 2. Very strange 2. I guess ace, deuce. Regardless, I don't think I can fold, and I want to just kind of see where I'm at. So I raised to 285 with the full intention of just folding if I'm aggressed on more. And middle position player folds. The button goes into a theatrical performance that can only be described as a rain dance of sorrow and tough decision making.
I'm weak. Too weak. Help me! I can't hold on any longer. Please don't. I'm too weak. Please don't.
I'm all in. After the hand, another player announced how he deserved an Academy Award for that performance. He's only all in for 150 more than what I'm in there for. I really can't fold here, even though I'm almost always drawing to 1 ace. But the size of the pot, it's only $150. How much I put in there, gotta call. And he shows 2-3 of spades. So could not price out 2-3 of spades with a $35 pre-flop bet.
You have lost.
It took like a minute to go all in with it, and I think that's completely unnecessary with the stack sizes. Yeah, but that hand, it was kind of disappointing because I played it pretty much the horrible way. Like, I like my plan to just check call all the way down, and I think he doesn't get the good stack to pot ratio to be able to shove on the river there if I just call the turn and he bets maybe 200, maybe 250, because at that point his all-in would be like 375, 400, and that's a pretty easy fold. So my raise on the turn was absolutely horrendous. I think that if I was paying attention to his stack size, I would know that, you know, he's never going to fold to it if he has it. At the time, I do actually still beat ace queen, ace jack, ace 10, ace 5, all the ace rags that would play theoretically the same way. There are hands that I could beat that would call that raise, but in the grand scheme of things, I think it's just a losing raise long term, and I think that with that board, I have to just check call down no matter what the run out is. So, slight mistake, pretty big mistake, cost me a decent chunk of money, but we will learn for next time.